Hi, this is George Alger. Welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be speaking about Ventura Water. And joining us is Bob McCord from the nonprofit Venturans for Responsible and Efficient Government. Welcome, Bob. And for those who might not know, can you give us a brief description of your nonprofit?
Yes, George, good morning. Ventura for Responsible and Efficient Government, we refer to as VREG, started in 2008 as just a group of citizens trying to publish a paper about all of the issues surrounding Ventura government, including water, wastewater, pensions, and budgetary issues.
Very good. Okay, so let's start with an opening comment or statement. What is the current scene regarding Ventura Water?
Ventura is in a very good condition right now. We have, as everyone knows, a very heavy rainstorm. State water resources, the reservoirs are full. We have water out of the Ventura River. Casitas is right now at 170,000 acre feet. We get it from we're bounded on both sides by good water resources, and we're in very good condition. And we're working on an alternative resource called Ventura Water Pure right now.
Very good. So before we get to the alternatives, what are our current sources of water?
Well, your current sources would come from, on the west, the Ventura River and Lake Casitas, okay? By Ventura River, I mean, it's called the Upper Basin, which it stops at Foster Park. It's where the wells come in. And then that goes to tanks along our mountains behind the western part of Ventura. And then we go over to the eastern part, Santa Clara River, Oxnard Plains, Santa Paula Basin, and the Mound Basin. That's where we get our water resources, and we have a lot. There's like 250,000 acre feet at each end of this, potentially available in the ground, like enormous bathtubs, reservoirs, where water will rise and fall depending on rainfall each year. Right now, it's in very, very good condition.
Good. So I gather that the reason we need alternative water sources is simply because of the probabilities of occasional droughts.
If one looks back 100 years of recorded history on water, keep in mind we're in an arid zone. We will go from years when everybody is fretting and wringing their hands about drought, we'll never get water again. And they forget about the wet years where we suddenly become inundated and all the basins are full. And that is how it has been on and off for a century that we've recorded. And I have the data. I've looked at it a lot. So we are very, very different position in Ventura than many, many water agencies throughout the state. We have a special benefit from water at both sides of our city, and we should be happy about that.
Very good. Now, occasionally I see mentions of some controversy around Ventura Water. Can you touch on that?
There is controversy about two things. One of them had to do with state water, which Ventura opted to sign up for in '72, and for the last, 60 years, there have been controversies within the city. Should we build a pipeline to import it? A lot of folks said, yes, we should. A lot of folks say we shouldn't. In 1991, we had a ballot measure that was advisory put on there by the city council. In Ventura, folks voted for desalination as the source. That was like 52%. 48% voted for state water. But after it was enacted, nothing ever happened. So the controversy was the folks who felt having more water would lead to too much growth. We did not want to look like Los Angeles. And that's what was the sentiment. That changed in 2014 when the water, we only had not a lot of rain. So the Water Commission recommended and is now in place to access and build a state water pipeline from Callegas, which is in Camarillo, into Ventura. So we will begin building the infrastructure in order to import state water when that is completed. And the water can flow from the east side when we get state water, when we can, to the west side to combine water that we would get normally from the west side and back and forth. So that's a little more complicated because state water entitlements to a certain amount were recently sold to San Gorgonio, another water district, for about the next 20 years. They get the first bite at it when we get any excess. So that is a replenishment source that we can look at in addition to the Ventura water and the Santa Clara River water and mound. I mean, it is just a real plus. The second thing that's real controversy is the concept of Ventura Water Pure. That's the idea that originated in 2012 to drink recycled water, or what some would call sewer water, okay? That is controversial, and that is something a lot of people are paying a lot of money for, but that is not approved. But we're building towards that objective, and a lot of people don't like that. And it originated with the concept of direct potable reuse, meaning the plant water is treated some more, ultraviolet treatment is put right into our water lines. That was the original concept from 2012 through 2019. But VREG discovered and uncovered a report from an expert panel, which was then revealed to the City Council in 2019. It is not safe for public consumption. There's a complete expert report on that, and there are no regulations today on that, allowing it to happen. So at night 2019, the City Council people, VREG people, we met with 5 of them, myself and one other fellow, showed them the report. Everybody got the look on their face, George, like, what? We weren't told that, and they weren't. The City Council was not told that by the water people of Ventura Water back in 2012. They did, whether they hid it intentionally, well, one can speculate on that one. It was pretty clear there were no regulations, yet Ventura Council believed that they could do it. And in council meetings for the next 6 years, Neil Andrews, who's no longer with us, he was mayor, nice guy. He would announce that if the astronauts can drink it, we can. I mean, he pronounced that constantly. And the general manager of Ventura Water would stand up and say, look, I'll drink this, and she would, or pretend to. We assumed it was recycled water, but it was not acceptable. There were no regulations, and even to this day, there are none. Expert panels just met in 2022, saying that it's possible for raw water augmentation, and there's a meaning behind that, okay? But for treated water augmentation, there are no regulations, although draft regulations are online. If you want to wade through the pages and pages of the awful, I'm going to use the word bureaucraties and regulations, I mean, be prepared to spend your day scratching your head. And how is this going to work? So that is a big controversy and will be. This is a complicated subject.
Got it.
The deadline originally, George, was this had to all be done by 2025. This year, that was modified in a member of agreement that now extended that out to 2032. I'd have to look, but I think it's 2030. So the time for compliance has been moved out, which is a good thing. So Ventura Water Pure is controversial. It remains to be that, and we just have to see where it's going to go. But I will say this, when the council learned that you couldn't use direct potable reuse, the message out to the public changed one thing. DPR became IPR, but never truly explained. And so indirect potable reuse was, now we're going to treat it, build a recycling, all advanced water purification plant, pipe it up to Satakoy area, inject it in the ground, let nature treat it, pump it back out, and then put it into our distribution system and tanks along the hillside. And that is not in a nutshell, but that's the short of it.
Thank you very much, Bob. We are out of time, so we have to wrap up. But for someone who did want to find out more about this topic, do you have a website you could recommend that they go to?
The first starting place I can tell you is to go to Ventura Water. They have some options. One of them is their library. Go down and click on something called the 2023 Comprehensive Water Resources Report. That is a very good report. And it was developed by the Water Commission, and it's really proved to be a very good base document for all folks to educate themselves. And I recommend that's the starting point. Outside of that, if you want more history about the expert reports and water and all that, I won't offer my email because I don't need any more. Thank you. But they could email VREG. We probably could tell you something a little more if they need to know.
Sounds great.
We're past 10 minutes. I got it, George.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Bob. I'm going to wrap up now.
All right.
This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.